Now it's time to burn, burn, burn. There's no hiding down from your fate. See him lying down on the ground. There's no hiding down from.
Yo, everybody, how you doing out there? It is the Bad Bob Show. We got some really cool stuff today. I'm glad everybody's doing fine. I hope you guys were just waking up from that massive hangover you drank last night. So, hey, we got a special guest with us as usual every single day of our lives. We got the amazing Alexander the Great, better known as Base God 14. What's up, brother?
Hey, happy to be here with my brother, the Bad Bob himself, the director, my partner in Bad Bob Productions, my partner in crime, so to speak.
That's it, brother. What are you doing out there?
Well, right now I've been watching some sports, actually. There's a close game going on right now for you college football fans. Northwestern was actually beating Ohio State. For those that don't know, Northwestern is 1-7 right now, one of the worst teams in college football. Ohio State is ranked number 2, and right now it is tied up at 7-7. Northwestern was actually leading. Ohio State just scored a touchdown. I can't believe it that this is even a game. Because Northwestern, again, is like one of the worst teams in college football right now with a 1-7 record, and they are now tied up with Ohio State. Also, for you Patriots out there, the Air Force Army game is going on right now. I was watching a little bit of that earlier. It looks like that was a close game. Last time I checked, it was 3-7. Army was winning. So for you Army guys, Army was winning. But what can I say? I'm a Navy guy. I was in the Navy Reserve, so I'm kind of neutral on this one. Although my dad was in the Air Force, so if anything, I'm gonna actually root for the Air Force.
There you go. Well, cool. I see the football season's kicking up, ramping up. All you crazy son bitches out there like all that crazy stuff. As a matter of fact, do you even watch the NFL that much these days?
No, I stopped watching the NFL when they started taking a knee. That was it for me. I was done.
Are they still taking knees now or what?
I don't think so. My mom watches it. So like when I go to my mom's house every Sunday for dinner, I think you know that. But my mom does still like NFL. She watches. My dad loved the NFL. My dad loved college football. My dad loved all football. So he got my mom into it, and she still watches it, even though my dad has passed, And so she's always got football on. And I'll sit there with her, but I'm not really watching. I'll play on my phone. I'm reading a book. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting with her. You know what I mean? But as far as I can tell, it seems like they're not doing that kind of crap as much as they used to. So I guess kudos for them on that. But that turned me off, man. When they started taking the knee and all that BS, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not going to support that. My money, my choice. My money, my choice.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Well, we do have some other stuff in the news. Looks like Mr. Pelosi's in a little bit of a mess. Yeah, it doesn't look too good for that old man, but you know what? Hey, sometimes the old men get a little bit of a mess. They don't know how to get out of it because, they're kind of old-fashioned with a few things, especially not knowing how life is because they've been cooped up inside a place for a long time. But kind of like some other people we'll talk about some other day. But, what's going on with that big mess? I heard the stories are just stupid. I mean, just this crazy dude who went there and smacked him with a hammer, and the cop said this, and they said that. And it's like, which one do you believe? Do you got anything on that?
That's an excellent question. And so the ultimate question becomes, who exactly is the Pelosi attacker? And there's been a lot of different narratives as far as who this person is. Now, I'm one of those guys that definitely doesn't like to give attention to, essentially terrorists, would-be assassins, if you will, that kind of a thing. But as you know, the narrative in the media has been about, what kind of person the attacker was. And I'm not even going to say his name because I don't want to give him attention. All right.
Well,
but
sure.
I found 2 websites that are attributed to him. And I thought it would be interesting for us to check them out. Let's see. Can you see this first one I'm bringing up here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is from the web archive. So for folks that are wondering, how would you find this? You have to go to the web archive because this stuff has been scrubbed, right? They've scrubbed this stuff. So you have to go to the web archive in order to find this guy's websites. And you can see his name. I'm not going to say his name out loud again, because I don't like giving attention to people that commit crimes. Okay. Regardless of what you think happened, this man did assault Paul Pelosi, and I don't want to give his name credence. But this is the first site that I found. Okay. As you can see, it's kind of weird. You can see this image. It kind of looks demonic, right, Rob? This image, can you see it? Why colleges are becoming
I was
cults.
just about to say that looks a little familiar to a few things I've seen in the past couple of years.
Maybe even some films we've done, right? So maybe even a little bit like some of the films we've worked on. So.
Kind of. Yeah, it's kind of like I lived a couple of nightmares, so that looks like one of them actually. It's
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of.
You're really going deep. I didn't know you were going there. Wow,
that's pretty cool.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's crazy that you
kind of brings back some dark times, but hey, that's all right.
So let's just look through a few of the headlines. This is only one of. I've got another site after this. I've got his WordPress, but this is the first one I've got. So it says why colleges are becoming cults. You have a very demonic image there. He had a thing about Black Adam. The critics are effing commie gatekeepers. They love the shittiest movies ever, as long as those movies are shitty because they wear, I don't know. So he obviously did not like Black Adam. By the way, ironically, I took my daughter to go see Black Adam last night, Rob, and actually I thought it was okay. I thought it was a fun superhero movie. So, but apparently this guy did not like Black Adam. Okay, so there you go. He didn't like Black Adam. NT2, I don't know what that is. I assume that's a movie. I don't know. So
wow,
I don't even know what the context of that is. Why? There is no use in arguing with someone that is stupid to understand. Actually, I could agree with that, but obviously he's just ranting about stupid people or something like that. Disinformation board. They intervene when the disinfo becomes a threat to national security. So he says, this says the following video has been censored by Google for containing too much truthiness. So I think the actual word is truthfulness, but he liked truthiness apparently. May 16th. I don't know what that one's about. April 23rd. He's got some weird images here. If you do want me to click on any of the articles, I'll do it, and we can see a little bit more of this individual's thoughts. But it looks like he's got some strange artwork here that he's just posting about.
Stuff. Look at that stuff.
He has a thing about Ukraine. He says the more Ukrainians die needlessly, the cheaper the land will be for the Jews to buy up. So apparently he was anti-Semitic. That's a very anti-Semitic thing to say, obviously. Big disclaimer. We are simply reporting what this individual was talking about. We are not endorsing anything that he is saying. We just want people to understand possibly where this person who attacked Paul Pelosi is coming from. A message to the unvaccinated, disinfo shill tactics. Says this is happened a couple of times where the feds have gotten caught posting hate content online by the court documents they submitted, which is not exactly 100% false, although I don't know what examples he's using because the feds have been caught doing stuff that they haven't, really shouldn't be doing. But anyway, you can kind of see a little bit of where he's coming from in these posts. Primacy of consciousness and quantum mechanics. So you can see he's like all over the place. You know what I mean? There's not really a theme necessarily. Like this is just looks like this just is, I don't know, art. Might as well throw this in here too. Salamander is my bro. Don't know if I told you this before. If you remember, if I did, I'm guessing Salamander is the artist who did this. Maybe, I don't know. But you can see his posts are all over the place, right? They're just all over the place.
Hey, there's some, yeah.
Children of God. He's got a thing about Roman Catholics here. Putin you in on this. More anti-Semitic stuff. If you look at the caption, there's more anti-Semitic stuff going on there.
So this guy, he's a little freaky. So what was the outcome of all this crazy stuff there? What's going on?
Well, I mean, the outcome is that he attacked Paul Pelosi for reasons that we don't really know. I mean, what I'm trying to do here, obviously, is give some insight into this obviously deranged individual's mind.
Well, yeah,
his
that's
mindset.
pretty,
you know what I mean?
That's pretty jacked up stuff right there. What they were
this
saying.
Is his other site, by the way. This is his WordPress account. Welcome to Big Brother's censorship hell. Obey. Wow. Let Big Brother tell you what you are allowed to think and know. Got a thing about Indians. Wonder what Indians he's talking about.
Do they even know why he? Well, from this is what I've heard. This all from the courts. This is just what I've heard on on the radio from other broadcasters and stuff. But they were saying, or the news, they were saying that the cops, he actually opened the door, and he was fine. And then he actually turned around and started to walk back inside of his house. And that dude, that son of a bitch, just jumped up with a hammer and just started hitting him in the head. And that's when the cops tackled him and took him to the floor. I mean,
have they shown any body cam footage or anything like that?
No, I haven't seen any. I have not seen one footage. If you got something, that would be great because I haven't seen nothing.
No, I haven't found. I think a lot of people want some body cam footage. A big thing.
They're holding it back. That's what they're doing. They're holding it back.
Well, a big thing, of course, that I wonder, and when we were talking about this topic last week, the thing that I wonder is this guy doesn't have a ring. Seriously, there's no surveillance on the Speaker of the House's house. You know what I mean? You mentioned Nancy Pelosi is third in line for the presidency. Okay. If something happens to Biden, which let's be honest, Biden is not a healthy man. Okay. He is not a healthy man. Then if something, of course, happened to Harris, which, gosh, I'm having nightmares right now. As bad as Biden is, I don't want President Harris. But then if something happens to her, Pelosi would be president. She's third in line for succession. So Harris, the idea that her
just laugh right through.
I'm sorry, Rob, what were you saying?
If it turns out to be Harris and shit, I mean, God forbid, but
I'm just saying, assuming something happened to Harris, right?
Yeah,
Pelosi would be president, and the idea that her house doesn't have extensive surveillance at the very least, we talked about this before. I find it so strange that they don't have Capitol Police watching her house, even when she's gone. That doesn't make sense to me because obviously, if somebody did want to do her harm, okay, let's say they wanted to plant an explosive device or they wanted to use some sort of a chemical, weapon or something, right? All they have to do is leave it there, right? When nobody's looking, and then she comes back home and it blows up, right? So you would think that her house is under surveillance, right? Wouldn't that be logical?
I think so. Oh, yeah.
At the very least, it would be under surveillance by the Capitol Police because the Capitol Police are responsible for her protection.
Well, this guy was inside the house.
Well, the big question is, did he break in? Because I've heard conflicting reports that there was broken glass. He did break into the residence, but there are also people trying to say that he was invited in. And which narrative do you accept? Because the only person that really knows for sure is Paul Pelosi, right? And the attacker. Those are the only two people that really know what happened, right? That nobody else really does. Unless we have surveillance footage, right? Unless we have that surveillance footage to tell us what actually did happen. And I just find it impossible to believe that the Speaker of the House's house doesn't have any surveillance.
Well, how did they know? Well, how do they know this part? Even Biden was saying this. The guy was yelling out Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy? Okay, well, how do we even know that?
Well, there is a 911 call. I have heard parts of the 911 call. I haven't heard the full 911 call. Have you heard it?
I haven't heard any of it.
Yeah, I've heard parts of it. So,
did you hear Nancy? Did you hear the guy screaming out Nancy in the background?
What I'm saying is I didn't hear the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I didn't get it from the San Francisco Police Department. I got it online. Now you always have to take everything you get online with a grain of salt, right? Because they edit these things for whatever their narrative is, right? For their agenda. They don't just give you the raw information. That's one reason that I was trying to show the Pelosi attackers website, because if you go to these articles, okay, where they say, who is this man who attacked Paul Pelosi? They will reference these sites, but they will not give you the links, right? They'll talk about that he had these crazy websites, and they try to give you a narrative. It was right wing, it was left wing. He's just nuts. Yeah. Whatever agenda they're trying to push, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't give you the sites. I had to go and research to find these sites so that we could give it to our viewers, so our listeners could be aware of it. These sites are out there on the web archive, and you can check them out, and you can make your own decision about who this man was.
There you go. That's right. And that's awesome. And you know what? That really showed the insight on that guy's mind, what he was looking at. I mean, hell, be honest with you, we talk about him jumping around, looking at all kinds of different stuff. I do the same stuff too, but the little twinkle toe there with the wings and some of that crazy demonic stuff in the background. Unless the guy was trying to make a movie about demonic stuff and twinkle toes, there is.
Well, you see this one? You see this one I have up right now? Photographic proof of alien human hybrid infiltrators.
Yeah.
So he was into some crazy shit, it sounds like.
Well, you know what? Hey, to be fair, I watch a lot of UFO stuff too. Underground, reptile aliens been here for thousands of years, and the Greys, and they've been.
Are you into the lizard people? Are you into the lizard people in the Hollow Earth?
Not really, but the thing is that if it is true, okay, you've been down there for thousands of years. Why don't you come on out and hang out with some other people upstairs? It's like, okay, cool, but you bounce, you look at it, and then you leave. But here's the question too. So you're showing pictures of what he's recorded, or is this
is the WordPress account that supposedly is attributed to him. Now, one thing I want everybody to understand is I don't have any way to independently verify that he actually made these sites. But there are news sources, and by the way, these are alternative news sources. That's how I found this. That gave me the links, because if you go to the mainstream media articles, they reference the sites, but they will not give you the links. So they will not let you see the sites yourself to make your own decision. And so what I did was I was able to find what sites these guys are talking about, because I don't trust a journalist to tell me, oh, he was right wing, he was left wing, he was just crazy. I don't trust them. Okay. Right. And I don't think anybody else should trust them, because they have agendas. Right. And this is just the raw information. You can take it, do with it what you will. And you can check this stuff out and make your own decision about what kind of person this guy was. Right. I think he's nuts. I think he's really kind of deranged, because it's, people with schizophrenia, their minds go in all these different weird directions, right? Yeah. They can literally be talking to you. If you ever dealt with a schizophrenic person, they can be talking to you about whatever, and it can be brilliant. They start out, because a lot of people that are schizophrenic are actually very intelligent. Yep. And they'll start out talking to you, and it's brilliant. Then all of a sudden, they say something completely unrelated that's just batshit crazy. You know what I mean? Right. It just flips just like that.
I do know what you mean. I know exactly what you're saying. You can see it in your eye. If you sit there and you stare into their eyeball, you can see it. you can see the disconnect from life just for a brief second. And it's kind of it's if you know what you're looking at, it's really scary because you know it's real. And he's sitting there, he's talking to you, and his eyes are looking deep into your eyes at the same time. It ain't just like somebody looking at each other, me looking at you saying, "Hey, what's up?" And it's a very intense look that you'll never forget when you look into a psychopath's eyeballs or sociopath. They have a very distinct look. And me being a CO for a lot of years, almost 20 years, I used to deal with those guys all the time, especially in the high supermax settings. And there's hundreds of them. And they sit there, and some days they're just cool. And that's fine too. And you get up and they want to have a conversation with you. And sometimes you have a little bit of free time, and that's kind of part of the job, which is kind of cool. You get to stand there with the worst murderer in Arizona's history, or the countries, and they're hiding them out in some supermax jail in the middle of nowhere, and in the middle of the desert, and you get to have a nice little conversation. And those eyeballs, after a while, you start looking, and it's like, what am I talking to right now? Am I talking to a human being right now? Or is this guy, what's going on here? And before you know it, they got something waiting for you. And it's been planned the whole time. It might be planned right at the second. It might have been planned a long time ago. And it's all part of their plan. But you'll see it in their eyes. Sometimes you can't see it at first. First, because they're so good at making you believe in what they're trying to sell. And what they're trying to sell is your ass, because they're coming for it. And it's if you don't know what it looks like, that's why a lot of these, now I know why cops, FBI, investigators, wherever you want to call them, that track down these nasty people, the same one that just attacked Pelosi, Mr. Pelosi. You gotta watch out for those guys. You gotta watch out. And then the thing is, and then now everybody's making a spin on the dude, right? Yeah, let's politicize the dude. Now we got him in jail. He probably either knows where he's at or he doesn't know where he's at right now. That's why I was saying they always got some plan in their head. So he's probably sitting in the cell. They're probably telling him something, and he's just sitting there going, "Okay, y'all go along with the program, yeah, okay," because he has his own plan too. He doesn't realize what's really going on. So, but getting back to the story, not to get far off on that, but what's your feeling on this?
Well, I think he's nuts. I mean, okay. He has that very disjointed kind of thinking where it's kind of like, I call it almost like stream of consciousness kind of thing. Yes. Either that, or maybe he just drunk posts a lot, or he high posts a lot. That could be the case too. I do have some familiarity with that. I am a drinker, but the thing is like, I did put the links in the comments for folks for both of those sites, so you can check them out yourself, both the WordPress account and the other one is called friendlyfriends.com. I've never heard of that one. I actually have a WordPress, but I haven't used it in forever. But there's I guess this other one called Friendly Friends. It's spelled FRENLYFRENS, and Friendly Friends. These are both attributed to the Pelosi attacker. Make your own decision. Check them out and look for yourself and see what you think. What kind of person is this guy? Is he, quote, right wing or left wing? Does it really matter? Especially if the man is perhaps mentally ill, or if, like you mentioned, is he a psychopath? Is he a sociopath? Does he have other issues that are going on besides whatever his politics are? Which who knows what his politics actually are?
Good.
So.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that word, politics, because we got something else going on that is really cool for Arizona, because we live in Arizona and we love it out here. It's a rocking place. So if you decide to move out here, don't bring your bullshit with you either. Just come out here and have a good time, buy a house, sit down, join the economy. Let's all have a good time and, have a few suds every once in a while, enjoy the sun and
invest in Bad Bob Productions.
There you go. Throw some back over here. Okay. But getting on to that subject, Blake Masters running for Senate. He's pretty cool. He's beating the crap out of Mr. Kelly. And
well, it's neck and neck. The last poll I saw said that it is neck and neck. But the prior poll that I saw said that actually he was in the tank, and the reason that he was in the tank was because of Marc Victor. So let's talk about this. This is a big thing that happened over the last week here. Let me get rid of the Associated Press's blatant advertising. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, all these big media companies, it's just like they're just whores. Anyway, so this is from the Associated Press. Okay. This is dated November 1st. So this did happen earlier in the week. And it says Libertarian ends Arizona Senate bid, endorses GOP's Masters. And this is a picture from the debate. By the way, you can tell the AP is biased because look, they got a goofy picture of Blake Masters, right? Marc Victor and Mark Kelly. Well, Mark Kelly looks a little bit disheveled, but actually Marc Victor looks the best in this picture, doesn't he? In my opinion, this picture that the AP has. He looks he looks calm, cool, collected. Mark Kelly looks a little disheveled. Blake looks goofy. So there's some obvious bias just in this picture, right?
Well, Kelly looks like he's getting ready to backhand him right there on the front of the screen right there. What's going on with that?
He looks disheveled. He looks like he's he looks like he's agitated, right? That's what he looks like.
Exactly.
And Mark Kelly, I'm sorry, I've said Mark Kelly. Marc Victor looks very calm, very cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's got his hands in his pockets. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny that he's right in the middle, right? Because he's a libertarian, so he's in the middle of the Democrat and the Republican, right? So it says the Libertarian candidate for U.S. Senate from Arizona, Marc Victor, dropped out of the race Thursday and urged his supporters to vote for Republican Blake Masters. Victor's endorsement a week before the midterm elections could help Masters further narrow the gap with Democratic Senator Mark Kelly in one of the most closely watched Senate races in the country. The endorsement came after overtures to Victor from Masters' campaign aides, and after Masters persuaded Victor in a Zoom conversation to back him. Victor posted video of their 25-minute discussion on his website. We talked about this off the air, Rob. I highly recommend you check out that video. That video is awesome because what Victor does is for 25 minutes, he grills Blake Masters on a multitude of issues. And because their time is limited, instead of Masters doing the typical politician political speak, he just answers the questions, yes or no. It's rapid fire. So you get to see what Blake Masters is all about. So all you people that see these stupid political ads and you believe all whatever your BS, this video is so good because you get to see Blake's position on the economy, his positions on abortion, his positions on Social Security, his positions on everything. And I think Marc Victor did a great job interviewing him because it's very rapid fire and Blake gives very straight answers. So quote here says, while we don't see eye to eye on everything, I feel very confident after that conversation that Blake Masters is going to do everything he possibly can to further the interests of the Live and Let Live global peace movement, Victor said in a video referring to the organization he founded to advance his libertarian worldview. Have you heard of this, by the way, the Live and Let Live global peace movement, Rob?
No.
This is a movement that Marc Victor has started because he believes in something called the non-aggression principle. You ever heard of that? The non-aggression principle?
No, never.
So the non-aggression principle is something that's very common in libertarian circles. It's also common among what I would call right-wing anarchists, because there's a difference with anarchists. Some anarchists are basically Marxists and some of them are capitalists. And on the capitalist side, a lot of them believe in what's called the non-aggression principle. So the non-aggression principle basically says any, use of force absent basically self-defense is wrong. That's probably the easiest way to, so they don't believe, like they're into peace. They don't believe in invading other countries unless they attack you first. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Okay.
All right.
That's kind of the non-aggression principle. So Marc Victor is very into this, and apparently he had this conversation with Blake and he was impressed, and I was impressed. Again, this conversation, I really advise people to check it out. It's very easy to find. Just look up Marc Victor endorsement on Google. It'll pop up. I believe Marc Victor's YouTube channel, I think, is called it's like called Free Lawyers or Freedom Lawyers or something like that, because he's a lawyer. He's actually a defense attorney, which, it's neither here nor there. But anyway, yeah, so very interesting stuff. And I really think that this video where he grills Blake Masters for 25 minutes, really, really good thing for people to check out. In fact, if you want to talk about your reaction, I'll find the video and I'll put the link in the comments.
Well, I mean, it's good. It's good that he grilled it. I mean, at least there's a lot of questions that have been answered, and see how Blake Masters is going to, what's he going to do for Arizona? And I like that. I definitely got to watch the video and find out what the full thinking of the other Mark is. And I gotta like to check him out. I like the non-aggression stuff. I mean, that's pretty cool. Blake Masters, I'll be honest with you, when I first saw him, I didn't know what to think. They made this big deal about him. He was from California, and he's just dragging crap from California into Arizona. And I always had reservations about that. I kind of still do to a certain point. I don't know how long Blake Masters has been here in Arizona. I'm from California. That was 25 years ago. I learned a lot being here. Now I'm Arizonian myself and my family. And it's a whole different life out here. The way we think. And on top of that, they always talk about how this is a purple state. I don't know about that. I get it. I think it's more red than purple, but that's just me. But Blake Masters, he's still, to me personally, he's going to have to prove some other stuff to me before I'm 100%. I'm pretty close to it. I'm pretty close. I'm probably about 90% with Blake Masters. It ain't all about a smile either. It's what he does for us is what I'm willing to see and vote for when the time comes, which is shortly. And so the other story,
I share a lot of your concerns, Rob. In fact, I'll say this: like sometimes Blake Masters does not come across as very genuine to me.
That's right.
And I have a lot of concerns, and I do have a concern about carpetbaggers. Carpetbaggers aren't good. Like you said, you've been in the state. Geez, how long now? I mean, you're a California guy originally, but how long have you been in Arizona now?
25 years. Something pretty
so
close.
You're pretty much a zone. I mean, you are a zonie at this point. You're an Arizona guy. You're from California, but I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine because I was at an event for retirees from the city where I retired, and my friend, he was from California and originally, and now he lives in Montana because he feels Arizona. He's like the opposite. He left California, come to Arizona because he wanted someplace more conservative. Now
Yeah.
he feels like Arizona is being destroyed by the California people, which is ironic because he was a
Yeah.
California person. He moved to Montana. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because he's just done with it.
Yeah.
By the way, I did find the link, and I just want to mention that it was hard to find. There's a lot of Marc Victor videos on YouTube right now, but I was looking for the one from his site, and it was kind of buried, which kind of makes me think is YouTube suppressing this? But his site is called Attorneys for Freedom. Attorneys for Freedom. That's Marc Victor's site. I give him big kudos for being a man and saying, I don't want to spoil this race, right? Because he could have been a spoiler.
Sure.
He could have just taken Blake Masters out by splitting the vote.
That's
and
right.
I give him kudos for having a conversation with his opponent. And you have to give kudos, I think, to Blake Masters for having that conversation with his opponent and saying, hey, man, get on my side. We need to beat Mark Kelly. Join me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a big man to do that. Right?
Yeah, I'm glad we're getting it out there to the people too, because you guys out there, you guys need to understand, me and Base Guide 14 here, we're out there, we listen to a lot of stuff, man. I mean, a lot of stuff. And we pay attention. And Eric likes to listen to a lot of stuff that is very technical. I'm technical, but I'm a little bit different than the old Base Guide there. I do it a little bit differently. I do. It's just a little. I'm a little more. I listen to a lot of controversial stuff but I listen for very fine parts in it. I don't believe everything I hear. I listen to very specific details, and it's kind of unusual what I do, but it is, and that's why me and the old Base Guide here, we got a good thing going on here, because he can check me, and I can not necessarily check him, but I can cover it up with some other stuff that goes along with the program. So that makes sense.
Well, it's even the way we do business, for
that's
people
right.
who don't know. Rob is the kind of guy that he wants everything. He wishes everything was done 2 weeks ago. And I'm the kind of guy that's like, wait, we got to plan this out a little bit more. We're not quite ready. So that's one of the reasons I think our partnership.
Yeah, I'm the guy who likes to jump on that. Yeah. That's right. That's right. I mean, I like to jump on that bolt of lightning and just say yeehaw and just take off.
Yeah.
Where you sit back and you watch the lightning bolt and see where it goes first.
That's a good way to put it, man. I like that. That's a good way to put our personalities. Yeah.
That's right. And sometimes it fails for me, but that's okay. You gotta live and learn. You got. It's like getting bucked off that horse. You got to get back on the horse again. So I go out and find another bolt of lightning to jump on.
But hey, speaking of horses,
right.
Are we going to be needing horses pretty soon? Is that where we're headed right now? Are we going to be needing some horses, because we got the diesel crisis, or do we have a diesel crisis?
Yeah, I'm glad you transitioned over to horsepower there, because I'll tell you what.
Horsepower, yeah.
I'll tell you what, diesel. I mean, I just heard this morning. This was just on Fox News. There's, yeah, you know what? I don't even know what to believe. They're saying like 10 different stories why we're going to run out at the end of this month, and here comes Christmas. Here comes Thanksgiving. So the turkeys ain't going to get here on time. So go buy everything right now. Here's another thing. I don't know if you saw this one. Black Friday deals already started yesterday.
Oh, they seem to start earlier every single year, right?
This year it's going even faster, because they are anticipating. So the big boys up there at the top of the food chain, they know what's up. Hey, come and get your deals now.
I mean,
hey,
we've got the supply chain issues, right? And
right.
I'm telling you, folks, you better buy a new TV pretty soon, because these disposable cheap TVs, I don't know how much longer that's going to last. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
but here's an article from Forbes. I found an article from Forbes, so let's check it out. This is their explanation of why this is happening. So this article is actually dated October 30th, so it's a little bit older, from Forbes magazine, why the U.S. has a diesel shortage. Last week, the Energy Information Administration reported that distillate inventories were at their lowest level since 2008. The primary distillates are diesel, jet fuel, and heating oil. So it's not just diesel, it's also diesel, jet fuel, and heating oil. However, in 2008, distillate levels were low coming out of spring. Currently, they are low going into fall. That's far worse than the situation in 2008. Distillate demand generally spikes in the spring when farmers are planting crops. And in the fall, when they are harvesting those crops and people start buying fuel oil for winter. Thus, a low distillate inventory in late April 2008 isn't quite as serious as a low inventory in October 2022. In fact, distillate inventories have been this low in October since the EIA began reporting this data in 1982. These low distillate inventories are why diesel prices are above $5 a gallon nationwide, even though the nationwide average price for gasoline has dropped below $4 a gallon. By the way, that doesn't apply to Arizona. We're still over $4. I think we average what, like
$4.65 a gallon. No, it's
So-
$4.65 where I'm filling up.
Yeah, I think it was $4.25 here.
Okay.
So why is there a diesel shortage this year? There are 4 factors, but 2 of those factors are in play every year. As mentioned above, distillate demand spikes at this time of year, but it does that every year. In other words, you can plan for that. This is also the time of year that refineries are doing maintenance. They tend to do that in the spring and fall, which is when demand is lower and the weather is decent. So refinery capacity drops at this time of year. Third, the U.S. refinery capacity has fallen in the past few years as several unprofitable refineries were closed. So that's a new factor that has appeared in the past couple of months. This is something we should know about, folks. We should know that they're closing refineries. Okay, that's a bad thing. But the primary reason is the cutoff of Russian imports. Prior to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. was importing nearly 700,000 barrels per day of petroleum and petroleum products. Most of these imports were finished products and refinery inputs that boosted distillate supplies in the U.S. Rob, I got to ask you this. Do you feel that's acceptable that we have been importing that much from Russia when we clearly could be making it here in the United States?
No. Matter of fact, we can make as much as we want. I don't get it. I think, matter of fact, I'll just be blunt. We got to get Trump back in office. That's all there is to it. I mean, or somebody, except for this fool that's inside there right now. He is destroyed.
I'll take the nonpartisan route and just say we need somebody who is into fuel production. Somebody who is going to greenlight fuel production, because that's the key.
Greenlight.
Why in the hell were we importing from Russia to begin with? Why?
That's right.
Why? It boggles my mind. Why are we doing this? What is the point? One thing I know that happens is sometimes what the deal is our domestic manufacturers, right? Our domestic energy sector, they know they can get more money overseas than they can get here, right? And that's why they sell it, because like in Europe right now, gas and diesel is sky high, right? So if you're like a oil baron in Texas, do you really want to sell to us or do you want to sell to them?
Sell to them.
Right?
Yeah.
But we got to stop them. We got to do something, you know what I mean? Because this is national security we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Well, we have to sell to them because nobody's, it makes me so mad thinking about all this crap all the time. And I'm going to tell you right now. But you know what? The reason why Biden's going to lose his ass, he's getting thrown out. Soon as the Republicans take over the House and the Senate here next week. It's next week.
So you're predicting that they are going to take the House and the Senate next week.
Both. It's gone. It's over. I've been watching it. Everybody knows it. That the elections. Before I even lose my train of thought here, even the elections have been scrutinized so bad. You got people standing there with damn near shotguns, making sure only one vote goes in at a time. It is so tight. And I don't believe one story from all the liberal reporters, news stations, journalists, that's what they keep calling themselves, but they're not. I'm watching all the news conferences as much as I can get my hands on, and it's garbage. They keep talking about the same crap over and over. It's like nothing's happened, and it's all old Trump's fault from years ago. Why it is now, and how the economy.
Well, do you remember Obama was still blaming Bush for everything? Like the last God. Like he's a president for 8 years. The last year of his presidency, Obama's still blaming Bush for everything. You know.
And
he got away with it. And he got away with it.
Because they let him. They let him because they all loved him. And if I'm really going to hate to even say this, but I'm going to say it anyways because I'm an honest guy to a certain point. So here's the deal. If Biden had done this the proper way, if he had to save his presidency, because he's getting thrown out. Everybody knows it. As soon as the Republicans take the House and Senate, it's over. They're what do they call that? When they get rid of somebody, they tried Trump 3 times. What was that?
Impeachment.
Impeachment. So thanks. So he's getting impeached. That son of a bitch would not be getting impeached if he had done this right. If he had said, look, I get it. Fuel, okay, it's polluting the air, it's this, it's that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. We know it is to a certain degree. We all know that. It's not rocket science. Nobody likes sucking, turbo diesel when you're sitting stuck in traffic out on the 10 highway out there, and there's a diesel going by spewing black shit out in his damn tailpipe, okay? It sucks, and it smells really bad. Okay, we know it, we're breathing it, and it kills you. It's just the way it is. So, but if you want to transition the United States of America into something else, great. We all get it. We understand. We're adults here. We're human beings. We understand what's going on. But if you're going to do that, do it slowly. Talk to us. Say, hey, okay, we're going to keep it rocking and rolling with the fuel. So, for example, anybody out there that thinks they have a killer, non-polluting, system that we can put in cars, some type of engine, hydrogen, because they built the hydrogen and the electric cars.
How about this, Rob? What about biodiesel?
Well, biodiesel is another good one.
Investing more in biodiesel, because you can get biodiesel just from basically the grease from McDonald's. You know what I mean?
You can.
They have enough grease there to power a small city. You know what I mean? Your local McDonald's.
That's right. And you know where that's being dumped,
right? Why aren't we doing biodiesel?
It's being dumped right down the drain. It's being dumped at their dumps. It's being. But
riddle me that, Batman. Why aren't we not doing biodiesel?
That's what I'm trying to say. All these different alternatives that we do have, I don't disagree with it. I understand. if we can use it, let's use it. But don't say we're going to substitute it instantaneously and cause. Oh my God. I wish I could take pictures. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start taking pictures. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to show them on our show, but I'll speak about the pictures that I'm seeing every single day. And I work in downtown Phoenix. Okay. Real shithole. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now. It is. I'm from Los Angeles.
Hey, there's some nice stuff in down. Phoenix has
hold
a
on,
nice convention center. There's the Hyatt. You know what I mean?
I'm going to say some nice things. I'm going to say some nice things too. There are some shithole areas. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just going to tell you it is. And I'm going to, and it's not because, the streets ain't swept up. It's because there's because of other people that are running our state. Okay. They're letting shit go.
Oh,
and they're not checking. We'll say it this way. They're not checking the people. They're not seeing how they're doing. I drive right by them every single day. They're living in cardboard boxes and tents. It looks just like Los Angeles, downtown. Yeah. I drive right by them. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I've stopped.
They're actually right next to the state capitol, which is even more ironic. They're right next to the state capitol.
Oh, yeah.
That shanty town, yeah.
They're everywhere. But here's the thing. And I ain't going to call them they. They're people, okay? They're human beings. And this last summer, I was working downtown on some of the roughest neighborhoods, right down the street from the roughest neighborhoods in Phoenix. And I know where they're all at. Trust me, I do know where they're all at. But I just happen to be working there too. And it was the middle of summer. It was 110 degrees out. And it was pretty close to 110. I think it was like 108, which is still close enough to 110. It's hot. And I happened to stop at a Circle K and grabbed me a soda. And for some of my people at work, I bought a little dozen of donuts. We'll let everybody slam down a donut, some coffee, and had a good time before we went out and, work for the day. Well, they didn't finish all the donuts. They left like 5, 6 of them left. So on the way out, going home, which was still pretty early, like 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm driving home. Before I get on the freeway to make that long truck back to my house, there they are. Sitting there sitting on the ground with their heads between their legs, bent over. No protection from the sun, nothing. They've been kicked out of every spot, any shady spot you can put them, except for the ones that live under the bridges. They got lucky and got a little bit of shade. So what did I do? I stopped. I said, man, look at these guys. These guys, they're hungry and they're thirsty. I just happen to have 6 donuts. And I happen to have a couple extra bottles of water in my truck. I always carry it with me. So what did I do? I pulled over to the side, rolled my window down, right in the middle of traffic, stopped traffic. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. I didn't even care. Because they do it all day long, so I might as well do it myself, right? Stop, boom, hey. And they all look up at me. There's like 5 or 6 of them staring at me. I go, you guys hungry? They came running to my door so fast. They ran up to my door. I handed them 3 bottles of water and 6 donuts. And they were you should have seen the smiles on their faces. They were so happy because you could tell they were starving to death. And all of them are, a lot of them feed off of people. They got their signs up, ex-veteran, got 3 kids need to feed.
There are scammers out there. I can
Oh,
tell you that. There are
shit,
scammers out there.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's scammers, and then you have the other ones that are standing there. And I even saw a sign that said, fuck it, I just need a beer.
Right.
Just
It's just being honest, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool. I still never give him any money, but I just drove by. But the thing is, you got to be honest with the people. That's getting back to Biden, okay? Be honest. Say, hey, look, man, if I do this to you, or maybe he doesn't know. Who knows what's going on? The people in DC, it's running the show. They got it all backwards. You know what? You're killing everybody. We need the transition to go smooth. Okay? We need it to go not so fast. Slow down. You're killing everybody here. I don't know about you guys.
I don't know if you know much about what's going on in Germany, but Germany is like Christmas future of what you're talking about. Germany, the Green Party is very influential. Okay. The Greens are very influential in German politics. And somehow they convinced the Germans to shut down almost all of their nuclear reactors. I think they have 2 or 3 left. And by the way, they only have those left because of the Ukraine invasion. Otherwise, those were scheduled to be shut down a couple months ago. Okay. And they got sold on this bill of goods that they could do solar and wind. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been to Germany, but I know people that have. Okay. Germany is never going to be a solar producer. Okay. It's not going to happen. It's a northern country. Okay. It's impossible for them to, especially with the industry that they have, because it's a highly industrialized nation. They industrialized before we did. Okay. It's been industrialized for over 100 years. Okay. They are not going to be able to make up that shortfall with solar. Okay. Mm-hmm. And even wind, they have problems with wind. Even with wind, they have problems as far as producing enough energy to actually, make up the shortfall. So you know what they're doing? Because they took out so many of their nuclear plants, which, by the way, nuclear is the key. I'm just going to say it. Nuclear is the key. We need to have better nuclear energy. We need new nuclear energy plants. That's what we really, if you really want clean energy, that's what we got to do. But because they've closed down so many of theirs, you know what they do instead to make up the shortfall when the solar, which never works, and the wind, stops? You know what they do now? They fire up the coal reactors.
That's right.
They fire up the coal reactors. It sounds like a joke, right? This is real life. This is what the Greens have done to Germany. They are using coal. It's true.
That's right. There you go.
Because when and it's not if, it's when those stupid solar cells in the stupidest place. Hey, in Arizona, solar cells make sense. We should have more solar in Arizona because we got sun all the time. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So solar makes sense in Arizona. It makes sense in Texas, which is ironic. Texas is one of the most, if not the most conservative state, right? They are killing it with solar, killing it, because in Texas it works, right?
Sure.
It don't work in Germany. It don't work. And the Germans are supposed to be smart. You know what I mean? But because of politics, because of ideology, right?
Right.
They're doing this stupid thing and shooting themselves in the foot.
And
they're making the environment worse. They're making the environment worse because they're burning more coal.
Yeah. So back, you're right. Back to the point. Don't kill us, Ruff, to get, damn well, it has to make sense where you're at. Okay. So, the Western states like us, Southwestern states with all the sun. Okay. Solar. Yeah. And I don't think solar should be unless you've developed a solar panel that can produce thousands of times energy for the size of the panel. I don't think it should be our main source. It can be, but I think everything else that we do depend on, lighting and general electricity for a lot of stuff, Yeah, solar would be great. All the time, 24 hours a day. And then have the batteries that, they can power the lights at night, so when the lights go out, when the sun goes down, the batteries kick on, boom, and we've stored all that energy for the night. And so we can see where we're driving down the highway, and the shops and the stores can run their lights, and we can pull back on the massive machines, the nuclear machines that normally run everything. They're big generators, or big, even like the ones in Lake Powell. They said the water's so low they can't even really shut down some of the power stations. What's the big dam out there? Hoover Dam. Was it Hoover? Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a water crisis, obviously, with the
The
Colorado
water
River. So
which turns
yeah.
the turbines, which produces all the electricity.
That's affecting Arizona a big way. We're going to have to make massive cuts in Arizona, thanks to you California jerks. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah. So the power plants that you're talking about, the nuclear power plants, oh yeah, I think they should be made on land that earthquakes don't usually happen on. Number one. Unfortunately, you do need immediate water source for nuclear power. And there's a reason for it. And that's why they call it heavy water. When the nuclear rods go down, plutonium that heats up the water, which causes steam, which turns to propellers, which causes electricity. Well, you need water in case of an accident. And so that's why they're always on the coast.
Ukraine. I don't know if you saw this in Ukraine. Their biggest nuclear power plant is running on diesel generators right now because the Russians took out the power.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about that, but that's pretty messed up.
And then
Putin is a really evil man because he knows what he's doing. He is an evil man to do something like that because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he'll be gone soon too. So he's on his way out the door. So anyways, getting a little sidetracked there, but I'll tell you what, this has all been one picture show, and getting, kind of transitioning over to a little topic that we all know, or we should know about, especially for us, because we're in the biz. Paramount, we'll just say Paramount Pictures, Paramount Studios, the company itself. What the heck is going on over there? I know you were talking about a little earlier. So what's going on down there?
Yeah, well, it doesn't look all that great for Paramount. And full disclosure, I always disclose this. I do own some Paramount stock. So this actually does affect me. So Paramount Global, this is from CNBC. This is dated November 2nd, a couple days ago. Paramount Global shares sink as results miss and TV revenue falls. Key points. Paramount Global reported $6.92 billion in third quarter revenue, missing analyst expectations. Paramount TV network business saw revenue fall 5% due to a drop in advertising and pay TV subscriptions. It doesn't look like Paramount Plus is doing so well.
Wow.
Streaming service Paramount Plus now has 46 million subscribers, and overall direct-to-consumer revenue rose 38%. Now, direct-to-consumer, I would assume, was like if you buy a movie like on Amazon or something, or you buy a DVD.
Yeah.
So Paramount Global on Wednesday reported third quarter. Top Gun. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see that.
I still haven't seen it either. Paramount Global on Wednesday reported third quarter revenue that was up 5% from a year ago, but the results missed expectations as it suffered from cord cutting and a drop in advertising revenue. Its shares closed down 12% on Wednesday. Here's what the company reported compared with analysis expectations. According to Refinitiv, adjusted EPS 39 cents versus 49 cents expected. And the revenue was $6.92 billion, but it was expected to be $7.01 billion. This is also interesting. So the revenue actually did increase from last year, but the expectation was that it was going to increase more, and it didn't, and that's why they're plunging. Paramount said revenue for its TV media segment was down 5% to about $4.9 billion compared to the previous quarter, as pay TV subscriber numbers declined. The unit includes broadcast network CBS and cable TV channels such as MTV, Nickelodeon, and premium network Showtime. Advertising revenue for its TV networks was down 3% to about $1.9 billion, a sign that macroeconomic headwinds are beginning to hit. The company had warned over the summer that it was beginning to feel a slowdown in the advertising market. On Call with Investors Wednesday, CEO Bob Bankish noted digital advertising has more challenges, particularly since TV has the benefit of selling ads in advance. If an advertiser wants to make an impact on a national level, there's no better demonstrated media than TV, Bankish said. The scatter market, which is the market for TV ad time bought and sold closer to its ad date, also experienced some softness. Advertising for categories such as travel and electronics remained good, Bankish said, while the automotive sector, typically a big share of the ad market, still hasn't improved due to supply chain issues. The company noted it has also restructured some of its international affiliate TV agreements during this quarter, which shifted revenue from pay TV services to streaming. We have two objectives: producing cash flow and margins from traditional media and simultaneously building scale from the most important growth sector in media, which is streaming, said Bankish. The movie studio Paramount Pictures saw revenue grow 48% to $783 million compared to the same period last year on the back of more releases compared to the earlier days of the pandemic when lockdowns were still in place. Paramount Pictures also grew its licensing revenue to other platforms by 19% to $549 million. The company's direct-to-consumer streaming segment also performed better. Paramount Plus, the company's answer to premium subscriber services like Netflix and Disney Plus, added 4.6 million subscribers, bringing its total to 46 million customers. Paramount Plus also lost 1.9 million subscribers during the quarter as Sky Showtime, its joint venture with Comcast in Europe.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Plus. So it sounds to me like their gain, they lost probably domestically, but they gained in Europe. That's how they offset that Paramount Plus issue. Because I think a lot of people, once they, I don't know, I'm not a big Paramount Plus fan. Paramount Plus's subscriber growth was driven by sports, particularly the NFL and international soccer, as well as the launch of its partnership with Walmart Plus. The company also announced Wednesday that its blockbuster Top Gun Maverick, as well as recent box office hit Smile, would hit Paramount Plus by the end of the year, which will likely provide a boost to the streaming service. So there you go. I guess, Rob, if you want to see Top Gun Maverick, you could always get Paramount Plus.
I dumped them. Yeah,
it says overall, Paramount said its total direct-to-consumer streaming customers, which also includes its services Showtime, BET Plus, and Noggin, rose to nearly 67 million at the end of the quarter. The company now expects this number to exceed 75 million by the end of the year, which, by the way, is still way behind Disney Plus and Netflix. Paramount said its total direct-to-consumer revenue increased 38% year over year, and their subscription revenue grew for 59% to 863 million, mainly due to paid subscriber growth on Paramount Plus. Advertising revenue for the segment increased 4%. So also they have a thing about Pluto TV. It says, meanwhile, Pluto TV, the company's free ad-supported streaming service, reached 72 million monthly active users globally and grew its total viewing hours by double digits, the company said. On Tuesday, Fox Corporation reported that its Pluto competitor, Tubi, was a bright spot for the company, with revenue and advertising growing significantly for the service. I actually very much like both Pluto TV and Tubi. I do advise them for people because they're both free and ad supported. But also remember, Tubi has Altiverse. And I was an associate producer on Altiverse with our director, Russ Emanuel, who is the director of Staycation, the feature film that we're currently producing right now. So check out Tubi. Little plug for Tubi and a little plug for Altiverse. But I do like Pluto TV as well. That's one of the things I think Paramount is doing right.
Well, yeah. But also, on the other hand, the reason why I dumped Paramount Plus. I was tired. I like Picard. I was waiting for the next show to come out, and they're making me wait and wait and wait and wait, and I'm waiting. I'm like, really? And I'm, how long do I got to wait until I keep paying your subscription every month? Enough. Boom, just cut. Plus, there wasn't enough shows.
That's the reason. That's the reason I cut Netflix. We talked about that. Remember, I cut Netflix because they didn't renew Cobra Kai, and Cobra Kai was my favorite thing on Netflix. So I'm like,
Cobra Kai.
Why am I paying for this? Why?
That's right.
If they're not going to renew the show that I like, then why am I paying for this?
That's right. They're getting you. They're making some quick cash off you. There's, when I come home after a long day of work and I turn the TV on, the only reason why I turn TV on is for news at first. And then I just turn it off. There ain't nothing good on, as far as I'm concerned. There's some cool shows, some old repeats and stuff that are funny, and it's cool, it's what it is, but I'll sit down on the computer and turn it on and I'll go surfing. I'll surf everything from Facebook to YouTube to Google, anything I can get my hands on, any new articles. I love sci-fi. I love space. I love the new telescope we got out there. It's out there checking everybody out, and all the new asteroids are going to kill everybody. And it's great. I just go out there and just go look, and they just found two asteroids that are. Did you know they were headed towards Earth that were been hidden by the sun that you couldn't see the whole time? Did you know about that, Eric?
No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. They said they can't even tell if it's going to hit Earth because the sun's so blinding that they never could see the asteroids to begin with. Now they can see it, and they're big. They're called planet killers. That's what they're called. They're basically I forget how big they are. They're like half mile or quarter mile to a half mile wide.
Where'd you hear about this?
It's YouTube. It's all over the place. Asteroids hidden by the sun. You'll see it. It's pretty interesting. That was just 2 days ago. So all that good stuff. Are you taking a peek at that? See if you can see anything on that?
Yeah. First thing that came up was an article from the Economic Times. Here, I'll share it because I'm curious about this myself.
Mm-hmm. They're not sure. They don't got a good reading on the trajectory of the asteroid yet. But
incidentally, we did cover the DART mission. We covered that in a previous show for folks that want to check that out. We were talking about that previously. Can you see the article? Economic Times.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Planet killer asteroid found hidden in sun's glare. It said recently astronomers discovered 3 asteroids in the twilight because they were hidden in the sun's glare. Out of the 3 near-Earth asteroids discovered, one is classified as a planet killer, and it's named 2022 AP7. Scott Shepard and his colleagues at the Carnegie Institute for Space, Washington, mentioned in the Astronomical Journal that 2022 AP7 is a potentially hazardous asteroid because it traverses Earth's orbit. However, the danger may happen centuries from today. He also stated that they are conducting a twilight survey exploring the Earth and Venus's orbit in search of asteroids. So there you go. Pretty short and sweet, but there you go. That's what apparently is going on. So in the next, I don't know, maybe 100 years or so, this could be a real problem.
Yep. So everybody know. Get your money's worth now.
Get your money's worth now.
Hurry up. So, but anyways, it is that bat time. So want to say it's been fun again. We're going to be here again next weekend, Saturday, 10:30 in the morning. Catching all you people out there that just kind of woke up or still haven't woke up, just go ahead and turn that computer on and we'll be here. We'll be here talking about your next big issues that are going on in this world. And if there's anything else out there that you guys think you might want to talk about or any suggestions or anything we've talked about so far, go ahead and leave some messages. We'll get back to you. We're
hey Rob, I wanted to ask you right on the air, and I'm putting you on the spot because I know your schedule is difficult, but what do you think about doing some election night coverage? Do you think you can? Because I know you go to bed early, but what do you think about doing some election night coverage on Tuesday?
On Tuesday?
Yeah, that's the election.
I can, sure. I'll be rocking and rolling. I won't be available till about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Well, I think the polls in Arizona close at 7 or 8, right? They either close at 7 or 8. So the first number should come out. And I was thinking it'd be nice if we could do the first data dump. The first election dump. And then we could kind of tell people where the race is. Because I know a lot of nationally, there's attention on Arizona right now with the Kerry Lake and Blake Masters races.
We are the shit right now. So everybody's watching us.
So I was thinking if you want to do that, I'll research whether the polls close at 7 or 8. But you folks out there, you can Google it too. And then whatever time it is, we'll just come on the air and I'll have the numbers from the county recorder, from the Secretary of State, which of course the Secretary of State is Katie Hobbs, but I'll have the numbers ready to go. You know what I mean? And we can just give like first reactions to what's happening here in the great state of Arizona. What do you think?
Do it. I will. Okay, cool. I'll call you on my way back and give you a heads up and tell you what I found out, and we'll jump on real quick and let everybody know what's happening.
Do you plan to vote on election day, or are you an early voter, or what do you do?
Usually I'm an early voter. I like to get it over with first thing in the morning. Usually.
I plan to vote Monday. I plan to vote Monday to avoid the crowds on Tuesday. That's my plan. So. Yep.
And I'll be voting for the most popular people, of course. I will.
Only winners for you, right?
Only winners. I only pick winners. I don't pick losers. Losers suck. Yeah, they need to go away. They need to go back in their hole where they came from. They've been out of their hole too long. So, but anyways, yeah, we'll have that report. That sounds good. All right, so everybody enjoy your evening. Enjoy your week. We'll see you this week. We'll bring by that good news from the voting and let you guys know what's happening. And all right, Mr. Big Scott.
Just a quick update for folks. Yep. I've got the game in the background. Ohio State is now leading Northwestern 14-7. It's in the third quarter, so they haven't pulled away. This is still a game that Ohio State could lose, but they are winning now at this time. Just want to throw that out there for you college football fans.
Live update. We always love live updates. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, bud. We'll talk to you guys soon. Everybody out there, enjoy your week, enjoy your days. Stay out of trouble and be safe. We'll talk to you real soon. Talk to you guys later. Bad Bob out.